What you are about to watch is a visual recollection of events in one man's life. The people, places, and events that shaped his life and how he in turn shaped the world around him. Felix Vann was born on a mild winter's day on January 9, 1909, in the tropical South American town of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. He was the second of twin brothers born to his mother, Elizabeth Chapman Denny, and his father, Eugene Ellis Vann, who both had come to Rio in 1907 as social settlement workers. Rio de Janeiro proved to be quite the exciting backdrop for the young Felix. Much of his childhood was spent playing in the surf at Copacabana Beach and climbing the hills in Juiz de Fora. But providing their son with a solid foundation in his early years was first and foremost on his parents' minds. Eugene and Elizabeth first met as college students at Vanderbilt University in Nashville, Tennessee. Besides being dignified and intellectual, they carried with them great social consciences and a genuine concern for the betterment of the world around them. Felix describes his mother as being a, quote, loving, dynamic person who was a wonderful wife and mother. Elizabeth spent the greater part of her life doing social work, involving herself in the Works Progress Administration and the Great Depression of the 1930s. Her intense social and political activism remained with her all her life. Felix's father Eugene had similar humanistic interests. Outside of missionary work in Brazil, Eugene taught Latin American history and economics at Stanford and Brown universities. Although not the activist that his wife was, Felix describes his father as being an intellectual who was an excellent conversationalist and teacher. Felix had nothing but adoration and respect for both his parents, claiming that they both had many outside interests which gave way to a range to their vision and accomplishments. Most of Felix's upbringing was done by his mother, who provided Felix with a strong background in ethical and social graces, but it was through his mother's sister that he found his chosen lifelong career. At the age of 12, Felix was paid a visit by his Aunt Lucy, who was then a student at Johns Hopkins Medical School. Lucy brought with her a box of bones for the impressionable young Felix, who took to them instantly. Upon graduating from high school, Felix felt quite prepared for the brutal academic life that awaited him at the prestigious Columbia College. In 1933, 4 years of hard work resulted in one of the greatest moments of my grandfather's life, the year he received his medical degree. His first real-world experience came as a medical intern at New York Hospital, where Felix was introduced to much more than a real working environment. It was on one fateful November night in 1933, just as Felix was about to take in one of his favorite symphonic radio programs, that he was requested to attend to a newly admitted patient who had been suffering from an upset stomach. He recognized his patient as a Cornell University medical student who had caught his eye in the hospital cafeteria thanks to her beautiful coppery red hair. His suddenly much improved patient, now sitting on the edge of the hospital bed, invited the gaze of her attending physician by asking, "Don't you think I have beautiful feet?" And what else could a 24-year-old blue-blooded doctor, raised with the most esteemed of social graces, do but agree with this flirtatious 20-year-old patient? A patient who would eventually become his wife, Dorothea Dymel Vann. In 1934, Felix received a scholarship and was given the opportunity to study medicine overseas in Europe. Shortly after traveling to England, Felix asked Dorothea to be his wife. She happily agreed, and at 11 a.m. on June 13, 1935, Felix Huffman Vann wed Dorothea Frances Dymel at St. Peter's Parish Anglican Church in Belsize Park, London. On December 1st, 1941, a green-eyed, bouncing baby boy was born to this happily married but incredibly busy couple. he was given the name Richard Dymel Vann, and was soon known for throwing some of the world's greatest temper tantrums. But with World War II in full swing and Uncle Sam in need of medical assistance overseas, Felix enlisted in the U.S. Army and was sent into the European Theater of Operations. After 3 years of service, traveling through the UK, France, and Germany, he was given his discharge in 1945 and joyfully returned home to his wife and his now 4-year-old son. Felix and Dorothea had high hopes for their ambitious and self-assured son, whom they claim was, quote, a superior boy who became a superior man. As Dick grew up, he embraced the spirit of the 1950s by listening to rock and roll, working on race cars, and playing football, but still keeping his intellectual interests in classical music and his studies. Dick's unselfish concern of others, his hard work ethic, and his determination and ambition guided him through high school and eventually into the same university of his father's, Columbia, where he obtained both a Bachelor of Arts and a Bachelor of Science degree in mechanical engineering in 1965. In the years that followed, Dick enlisted in the United States Naval Service and took leave to Vietnam as the UDT Frogman. Upon returning in 1970, he married Mary Shepard Von Roth, moved to Durham, North Carolina, received his Ph.D. in biomedical engineering, raised 3 children, and still managed to keep his cool. Dorothea Vann relinquished her pediatric practice in 1961 and took up her passion of painting oil and watercolors. Much of her painting was done at her parents' summer home in Liberty, Maine, where Felix and Dorothea took frequent vacations every year. Felix was an activist, much like his mother, and a member in many medical organizations in his area. Retirement came in 1983, along with a move to Durham, North Carolina, to be around his son, daughter-in-law, and his 3 grandchildren. My memories of my grandfather are those of a self-assured and well-rounded individual who had the warmest of personalities and a constant concern for those around him. I see my grandfather as a man of character and values, a pragmatic optimist who was dedicated to his medical career, his love for his family, and his belief in the betterment of mankind.